watching News 4 Today.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into News 4 Today. Just about 5:30. I'm Jumia Labanji.
I'm Melissa Malay. We have been telling you all week, grab a jacket before you step out the door.
And today is no different. Another chilly start to your Wednesday morning. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Amelia Draper in for Chuck this morning with more on the forecast.
Yeah, I know. I need to grab a jacket, but I need to go into the closet and have them right by the door so I can literally grab the jacket. I'm like,
you have a cute jacket I saw you wear the other day.
oh, thank you.
The flowered one? Or it's colorful?
I have all my jackets are colorful since the pandemic. I'm going full color after this craziness. So yeah, they're all wild.
Yes.
I'm done with the beige and brown and black jackets after the pandemic. Anyways, let's talk about the weather. Looking at our weather alerts, we do have frost advisories posted until 9 a.m. this morning for parts of Montgomery, parts of Fauquier, Culpeper, Prince William, Loudoun County, Frederick County, and Maryland and Virginia. Warren Clark County is a more serious freeze warning. So bottom line, you need the jacket. You could have some frost on your windshield this morning, tomorrow morning as well. And if you still are trying to upkeep sensitive plants, hopefully they have been covered overnight, and you'll need to do that again tonight. 46 degrees right now, the wind chill coming in at 41. It's chilly. Definitely the heater on in your car kind of morning. The heat definitely kicking on in the house at the Draper household. As we head throughout the morning hours, temperatures staying in the 40s until about 9 a.m. Plenty of sunshine this morning. Clouds, though, do start to build around the midday hours as the winds pick up. Bit of a breeze around the midday and afternoon hours with high temperatures today only around 60. That is 10 degrees below normal, Melissa and Jumi. I'll let you know when we leave this November chill, and we could see maybe another 80-degree day in my extended forecast coming up a little bit later in the hour.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you. We do want to get back to the developing story, this one out of Haymarket, Virginia, where two couples and their children are without a place to live.
The home that they were living in exploded. Luckily, they were all able to escape. That explosion happened on Colby Hunt Court Tuesday afternoon. That's where we find Joseph Almo this morning with more on the possible link to the explosion. Good morning.
Hey ladies, good morning. And firefighters have just returned to the scene just a couple moments ago, and with their lights you're getting a better picture of this absolute destruction. There's really no other way to put it. You see those, if you can zoom in and deer on, like that white crown molding, almost look like a triangle lying on top of the roofs of those cars. That is the top of the garage, or what was the garage. This house was completely leveled. I want to take us up in the air now to show you what Chopper 4 saw when it was flying over the scene yesterday. And as you can see, again, the house was just totally destroyed in this explosion, obviously beyond repair. Back on the ground, video shared with News 4 shows large clouds of smoke coming from the home and a huge response from firefighters. Thankfully, everybody who lives in that home is accounted for. They had all evacuated before the explosion. No firefighters were injured. Very good news there. Authorities say 2 unrelated families lived in that home. 4 adults, 2 kids. Firefighters are still trying to figure out what specifically ignited the explosion, but they say initial reports are that an underground contractor had struck a gas line. So that is what we know right now. Of course, the investigation will continue for quite some time to get to the bottom of this. The bottom line here, though, is that all that destruction over there, that's material stuff. Lives were not lost. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, we're actually going to hear from one of the gentlemen who lived in that house, just reacting to seeing the place that he called home leveled. Back to you.
All right, Joseph, thank you. To our other top stories here at 5:33, there will be a memorial service today for Ethel Kennedy at St. Matthew's Cathedral in D.C. The widow of Robert F. Kennedy died from a stroke on October 10th. Road closures along Rhode Island Avenue and M Street Northwest will run from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. President Biden will deliver a eulogy. Presidents Obama and Clinton will all attend.
The Montgomery County Council has approved a pilot program to install noise cameras. The cameras have microphones and take photos or videos of the license plates of vehicles that trigger them. The county will buy 3 cameras. We don't know yet where they'll be set up. Drivers would receive a warning for a first offense and a $75 fine for a second offense.
If you shop in Montgomery County, you may soon have to bring your own bag. The county council proposed a new bill that bans retailers from giving out single-use plastic bags. The bill would also raise the fee for paper bags from 5 cents to 10 cents. That paper bag fee would not apply to restaurant takeout orders, food delivery, or fast food. All right, well, we've been telling you about it. Pandemonium back in D.C. Our two newest Cubs, Qingbao and Bao Li, said goodbye to their home in Chengdu, China, and are now heading for new adventures here in D.C.
So they flew in yesterday on the FedEx Panda Express right there. It was a long travel day for D.C.'s new furry diplomats. Once they got to the zoo, the pandas explored that new habitat.
Yeah, they're so cute. Look at that, splashing around in the water there, having some fun, chowing down on some bamboo, you know, getting acclimated in their new digs here in D.C. Even though the zoo was closed, many people still took the time to come out and welcome their new neighbors.
So much excitement, so much joy to welcome them to our city.
I just love the color. My favorite color is black and white, of course, and then they just look so cute, so that's why I love them.
Qingbao and Bao Li have to quarantine for 30 days, and then you'll have to wait even longer before their first public appearance at the zoo. That won't happen until January 24th, so, you know.
You got some time.
Yeah, I got some time. After the holidays, after inauguration, then because there's just a lot going on in D.C. the next couple months.
They need their own
kind of
area,
yeah,
sort of. I wonder how this habitat compares to the one they came from, like square footage wise and stuff. You know, I was thinking, I'm sure it's such a massive change, but I hope it's similar enough that they're not like, well, what's going on here, you know? All right, time now is 5:36. Coming up on News 4 today, the minuscule machine that takes washing to a whole new level.
Plus, it's full steam ahead to Election Day. Early voting's underway with a new record being shattered in one key battleground state. The new reporting on just how many voters plan to cast a ballot before November 5th.
And later by foot, by bike, and soon a new rail line, how transportation officials are making it easier for you to get across the Potomac.
You're watching News 4 Today.
Welcome back this morning. The FAA will be taking a closer look at near-miss incidents at the 45 busiest airports in the country. That includes the 3 major airports in our region. Now, this is an audit that will identify potential gaps in procedures, equipment, and processes to make recommendations to improve safety. Over the last 2 years, I should say, there have been a series of near-miss incidents. They've also raised concerns about the strain on understaffed air traffic control operations. This audit is expected to be released early next year. Well, new this morning, a washing machine has set a new Guinness World Record.
Here's why. It's so small, you'd be lucky to fit a sock inside it. Maybe like a Barbie sock, because this thing, look, he's pushing that sock in. The machine weighs about the same as 2 Oreo cookies. It's making me hungry. It was created by a man in India who says he wanted to fulfill his dream of becoming part of the Guinness Record Book. To do so, he had to show the machine could run for a full cycle, including wash, rinse, and spin. He must have really researched to figure out this was the easiest way for him to get in. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it would not be a thought of mine, but you know, congrats to him.
Look at that.
Look at that little sprinkle of detergent.
Here's there are some people that are like super into doll houses and Barbies and like making. That is the perfect accoutrement for that.
There you go. Yeah, you're right.
1 in 1,000 person. Hey, ladies, it's a cold start out there this morning. We have a frost advisory for many through 9 a.m. Grab the jacket. We're going to be cold right up through tomorrow morning. We kind of start to warm up later Thursday, but definitely into Friday, the weekend, looking fantastic. And then right on through early November, the overall weather trend, warm, dry. I'll have the 10-day forecast after the break.
You're watching News 4 Today.
5:44, welcome back this morning. A judge in Georgia blocked a new rule from the state's election board.
The rule would have required counties to count all ballots cast on Election Day by hand. In his decision, the judge wrote the rule would cause administrative chaos, citing the need to retrain poll workers so close to the election. An appeal is likely. That rule was set to take effect next Tuesday. Meanwhile, energized voters in Georgia already set a new record on the first day of early voting there.
Yeah, so the battleground state could be the key to winning the White House. More than 300,000 people cast their ballot in person yesterday, according to Georgia's Secretary of State. Now, with 20 days to go until the November election, early voting is underway in 10 states, including in Virginia. News 4's Alice Barr is live on Capitol Hill. And Alice, the long lines down there in Georgia seem to underscore a new NBC News poll about early voter turnout.
That is right, Jumi and Melissa. We've gotten used to seeing those long lines, particularly in Georgia, it seems like. But this is early to have them so pronounced on the very first day of early voting, those record-setting number of more than 300,000 folks getting out to have their voices heard. It's reflecting how important it is to people this election season to get their voices heard. And it lines up with a new NBC News poll finding a little more than half of Americans do plan to vote early this year or already have. That's up from 41% who planned to vote early back in 2016, reflecting some of the shifting habits among voters. Former President Trump, who in the past has railed against early and mail-in voting, is now urging his supporters to cast their ballots as soon as they can. And he underscored that message at a rally in Georgia yesterday, where he also addressed Black and Hispanic voters, groups that polls show him making gains with. He argued that those who vote for Kamala Harris should have their heads examined. Vice President Harris, at a radio town hall in Detroit hosted by Charlemagne the God, urged people skeptical of her to ask Donald Trump what his plan is for Black America, while noting that hers includes tapping into ambitions and aspirations to help the Black community build intergenerational wealth. And she has been stepping up her outreach, particularly with Black men, which is a group that polls are showing former President Trump has made gains among. And the vice president will be campaigning in Pennsylvania today, as former President Trump is set to hold a town hall with Univision. Back to you guys.
All right, Alice Barr live for us. Alice, thank you so much. Well, here at 4:57, just a reminder, News 4 is working for you this election season. Head over to NBCWashington.com or open the NBC Washington app and click on Decision 2024. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need to know to cast your ballot. Well, all week long, the News 4 I-Team and Telemundo 44 have been investigating how the fentanyl crisis is impacting young people in our region. Addiction doesn't only change the user, it changes their family, too. Consumer investigative reporter Susan Hogan explains how several families are struggling to stay afloat as they navigate trying to save their children.
Even though you live with the hole and the emptiness and the sadness, it becomes part of your life.
For Elena Suarez, every day without her 19-year-old daughter is a painful reminder of the cruel way she left this world.
It took me a year to realize that my daughter was using substances. As parents, we don't think my child using hard drugs, impossible.
Her daughter Colette survived 3 overdoses, including one that put her in a coma for 5 days. But hours after checking out of the hospital, she was back to using again.
She passed away in the middle of COVID, August 26th of 2020, due to fentanyl poisoning.
Sadly, stories like Colette's are not uncommon. As we looked deeper and asked more questions, we discovered there are more victims, the parents, as they struggle to get their kids in and out of treatment. It's a huge impact on their finances, others losing their jobs or their homes.
We've actually even seen cases where the family has had to sell their home because of, their child's fentanyl use.
Now, tonight we will break down all of the resources available to families, also how insurance coverage works to pay for treatment for young kids, and also what to do if you are uninsured. We'll see you tonight at 7:30 on The Rundown.
We continue to follow recovery efforts in North Carolina from Hurricane Helene. More than 2 weeks after the storm made landfall, the urgent search for survivors continues. During a news conference Tuesday, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper said at least 81 people are still missing. Nearly half of the deaths from Helene are in North Carolina. At least 118 lives have been lost there out of the 243 people killed across the South. Many people in North Carolina still don't have running water or electricity. Oh, you just feel for everybody down there. It's going to take a long while to get back to some sense of normalcy down there.
I mean, it's just terrible. The images, the stories that you hear. I mean, you have people that thankfully got out, but then they're like, when can I get back in? Kind of on a lighter note, you know, we do the fall foliage forecast, and that comes from Explore Fall, one of the founders of that company down in Asheville. So he's saying, you know, he's just not able to kind of produce his product because he's helping his community in the cleanup down there.
And it's so needed.
Yeah,
it's so needed.
It really is.
All right. Well, we're starting to feel real fall-like here at home for sure.
It's chilly.
It is.
It's feeling, this isn't normal chill. This is November, mid-November chill. So 4 things you need to know about the next 4 days. Chilly, breezy out there today. Tomorrow, it's still cold, especially during the morning hours. I would not be surprised for more frost and freeze alerts issued tomorrow. Gorgeous on your Friday, fantastic on Saturday. So we're with this cooler weather the next couple of days, and then we do start to warm things up. But speaking about those frost advisories, the areas here in blue under frost advisories until 9 a.m. this morning. This includes parts of Montgomery, Prince William counties, Loudoun, Fauquier, Frederick County, and Maryland under these, and areas farther back to the north and west. West of the Blue Ridge, even some freeze warnings out there this morning, with our temperatures currently in the low to mid 40s. 41 in Leesburg, 45 in the district, 37 in Frederick, Maryland, one of the cooler spots. Culpeper as well, coming in at 36. So you definitely want the jacket this morning. You'll need it throughout the day. And while we're dry today, we'll have an increase in clouds. We have winds coming out of the north-northwest. That wind direction up around the Great Lakes is actually producing lake effect rain showers, even some wet snow mixing in. Yesterday, we had some mountain rain and snow showers, including at Snowshoe, where we were seeing snow on the cam there out in West Virginia. That trend continues today, but again, here in our area, we will be dry, just an increase in cloud cover as we head throughout the midday and afternoon hours, and breezy winds, especially later today, gusting up to about 20 miles an hour. But for the most part, the weather having a pretty low impact on your day. Once you get the heater on in the car, that is. A high temperature of 60, which, by the way, is 10 degrees below normal. Tomorrow, another cold start, 30s and low 40s at 8 a.m. By lunchtime tomorrow, a temperature around 55, a high of 62, so a touch warmer than today, and sunshine from start to finish on your Thursday. A little bit more cloud cover today. Friday, Saturday looking fantastic. Highs around 70, 73 on Sunday. Perfect weather for the Commanders game. Next week looking mild. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Melissa, I know you were just updating the traffic maps. What's the latest? Any big issues out there this morning?
Yeah, good morning. That earlier problem, inner loop of the Beltway near Greenbelt, has cleared out of the way, so that's a nice update for us there. New issue northeast, inbound New York Avenue after the Anacostia. Left lane blocked by a work zone there. Silver Spring, northbound Connecticut at Adams Drive, right lane blocked by an emergency work zone. And in Fredericksburg, southbound 95 after the Rappahannock River, that has cleared. Eastbound 66, northbound 95 on time. Southbound 270, outer loop Colesville to 270, no big slowdowns. Jimmy?
All right, well, happening today, the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors plans to vote on a pilot program that would take nearly 100,000 cars off the roads. Here's why. Data shows almost 97% of the people who work in Loudoun drive alone in their vehicles. To start this 2-year pilot program, bus service would be offered from Dale City and Warrenton into Loudoun County. For the first year, the suggested one-way fare would be $8.25. Well, shovels went into the dirt yesterday in Northern Virginia. Transportation leaders broke ground on a massive new bridge project across the Potomac. It's a new span for the Long Bridge, which carries Amtrak, VRE, and freight trains from D.C. into Virginia. The problem is that one bridge is a major bottleneck, and it backs up people and cargo. The new bridge will run alongside it and carry passenger trains only. Freight trains will still stay on the existing bridge.
This has been a choke point for rail traffic all up and down the East Coast.
We're all about trying to create other choices that are viable for people and attractive.
The project also includes a bike and pedestrian bridge. The whole thing will cost about $2 billion. It's expected to be completed in 2030. Now your CNBC Morning Business Report.
Good morning, I'm Silvana Hanal from CNBC headquarters. Krispy Kreme is celebrating a cosmic event The chain is offering a supermoon super donut all day tomorrow to coincide with the Hunter's supermoon, which will be the closest the moon is to the Earth this year. The donut has a cookies and cream filling and is covered with yellow icing and chocolate cookie pieces. You can buy the donuts individually or in a special dozen pack. With your CNBC Morning Business Report, I'm Silvana Hanau.
Well, we are less than a month away from the tip-off of college basketball season. The men's basketball teams at Maryland and Georgetown will try to rebound after struggles last season. Both squads are still figuring out what their 2024 versions look like. The Terps will host the Manhattan Jaspers for their first game November 4th. And Georgetown's first game is also at home against Lehigh Mountain Hawks on November 6th. Well, the Super Bowl is heading back to A-Town. Atlanta will host the NFL's biggest game in 2028 at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Georgia has hosted the big game 3 times before. The first 2 at the Georgia Dome, the most recent one at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in 2019. Before Atlanta, the next 3 bowls will be in New Orleans, Santa Clara, and Los Angeles.
All right, 5:55 is your time right now. Coming up next on News 4 Today, check your fridge. A major recall is affecting families who shop at stores like Trader Joe's and Wegmans. Why the chains are pulling millions of pounds of ready-to-eat meat.
We'll be right back.